Rangers are on the hunt for a new manager after Philippe Clement's sacking yesterday. Our Scottish football correspondent David Tanner has more.
Losing at home to St Mirren for the first time in over 30 years, just 2 weeks after Rangers were humiliated in the Scottish Cup by Championship side Queen's Park, also at Ibrox, meant Rangers had no options. Philippe Clement rested players against Queen's Park, a calamitous decision given that the Scottish Cup was Rangers' only real chance of domestic silverware this season. The Belgian looked haunted as he accepted the blame for Saturday's defeat that came a couple of hours after Celtic lost, meaning Brendan Rodgers' league remains at 13 points. Clement will be remembered as the man who had the Premiership title in his sights this time last year, only to lose at home to Motherwell and against Ross County for the first time in history. A manager of contradictions, Clement battered Celtic 3-0 in his last Old Firm game, and Rangers are still in the Europa League. But who's next? Frank Lampard and Kevin Muscat were on the shortlist last time around. Muscat won the treble as a Rangers player, and as a manager he's won titles in Australia, Japan and China. But might Steven Gerrard be the type of global name that Rangers' incoming American owners might just fancy?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Rangers American owners, incoming owners, if it happens, by the way, and that's not done and dusted just yet, might fancy Steven Gerrard, but would he fancy going back to Rangers? Is this a good job, Coist? Because at the moment, they're light years behind Celtic, aren't they?
Miles behind them. It's a good job if you get backed. The recruitment has been shocking, Jeff. The recruitment has been shocking. It really has. You look at across the city. The one thing you've got to do if you're a Rangers manager domestically, you've got to beat Celtic. And if you're a Celtic manager, you've got to beat Rangers. It's relatively simple. That's where it is. To be a success, you're going to win the league, you've got to beat the other team. Now, Rangers, sadly, even including the very comfortable 3-0 victory against Celtic a few weeks back, are a good way behind Celtic on and off the pitch. Right, I know Celtic get beat at the weekend, but they put in a good performance in Munich and probably deserve to go to extra time in Munich. The gulf between the two clubs at this moment in time is massive. So anybody getting in there is going to have to take the whole place by the scruff of the neck and give it a right good shake, and they're going to have to get backed by new owners who would hopefully financially back the new coach and new manager, Jeff. Because, as I said, the recruitment and the money that's spent, I mean, you could name individuals. The money that's spent has been nothing, Cortez and people like that. There's millions of pounds, have been effectively thrown away. I know the lad get injured and things like that, but the players coming in have not been of a good enough standard. And what the fans are finding it difficult to accept, and I'm with them 100%, is a lack of, it looks very much like a lack of fight and a lack of desire. You've got the Rangers football team on the pitch is weak. There you are. I don't take any pleasure in seeing it at all, but I wouldn't mind playing against it, to be quite honest with you. It's the kind of team you'd love to play against because there's a weakness about it on the pitch. And sadly, at this moment in time, there's a weakness off the pitch as well.
So, I mean, it all started so well for Philippe Clement, didn't it? I mean, he started brilliantly at Rangers. Is he carrying the can for other people's failings?
Yes, but he's also carrying the can for his own failings. When you take that job, you can complain about recruitment, you can complain about this, that, and the next thing, but effectively, the one thing you do know, the buck stops at you. And you're the man that'll get the sack. The players won't get the sack. You'll get the sack. And that's what's happened. Of course he has to shoulder responsibility. I don't think it's all down to him by any stretch of the imagination. But he shoulders the responsibility. I actually think last year, if they'd gone and got Lawrence Shanklin, I think they might have won the league. I genuinely do. In the window last January, I think if they'd gone as Dave Hart's whatever they wanted, I think Shanklin might have scored the goals that won Rangers the league. Wasn't to be. Celtic come back and deservedly won the league, and that was that. But the decline in the club on and off the pitch since they won the league and were beaten in penalties in a Europa League final after beating Leipzig, Dortmund, you name it, the decline hurts more than anything. It really does. It hurts to see.
Who would you like to see get the job?
Dear me, that's a question. That is a question. I mean, the obvious people you would think about. I mean, Stevie Gerrard would come into the equation, obviously, because of his success. You know, I wouldn't. It will not happen now, but I would have taken a gamble on Frank as well before he's gone to Coventry. But he's doing well at Coventry. I don't see that happening. You know, Muscat has done well. I think I'm right in saying Muscat might have won. I think he might have won 3 leagues in 3 different countries. Could be another option. Another option would be, obviously, some people would. Derek McInnes would come into the equation, who's a fine manager at Kilmarnock, knows the league, knows the players, knows the club. So there's one or two, there's definitely 1 or 2 options, but I don't think there's any glaringly obvious candidates right now either, Jeff.
Somebody just texted Sean Dyche, which might not be a bad shout, but
Correct.
Adam and Daisy, by the way, says no way McCoist goes to Rangers. The release clause in his TalkSport contractors put them off. If the call came Coisty, that's the big question. Would you drop TalkSport, TNT, Premier Sports, Viaplay, ITV, and your Daily Record column for the Rangers dugout?
Listen, mate, you know me. I'd drop everything for the Rangers. Everything.
Brilliant.
You included.
I guess it came as no surprise, the Philippe Clement news.
No, it didn't, mate. It didn't, to be honest with you. I think it was obviously the results, the away performances in the league. Listen, you got to balance up and say some of the performances of Europe have been pretty good. They have been, of course they have. But generally speaking, that's not where Rangers need to be at this moment in time. Need to get themselves sorted out domestically. Haven't been good enough domestically. Losing the FA Cup to the Scottish Cup game at Queen's Park was a massive, massive blow. And then obviously Saturday, the manner seemingly, the boys are at the game, seemingly the manner of the defeat as well against Murn, who incidentally deserve a lot of congratulations as well. And they're going well. But it's been poor, mate. It's been poor.